It felt so good sleeping in. I actually woke up at 10:30. That never happens. But after that 22-hour yesterday, I was just exhausted. So I'm so happy we stopped here and got some rest. And the wind is really light right now, so I got a feeling it's gonna be some pretty light wind sailing, which I guess is why we're not in that big of a rush of leaving. Just writing my journal, enjoying some coffee, and then we'll get going very soon. Are you excited for another Gulf Stream crossing? It's gonna be our 4th one, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be a good one. We've learned a lot from the last 3, so hopefully this one will go pretty smooth. The wind's really light, no northern components, so the waves should be pretty mellow. Fingers crossed. Maybe even do some spinnaker flying because it's going to be so potentially light in some areas. But we're going from West End all the way up to St. Augustine, ideally. This is the last time I'm starting the engine and pulling up anchor in Bahamas. Kind of sad, actually. We had a really good time here this season, but it kind of felt short. 3 months isn't long enough cruising. But, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta go home, have a add to the crew, and then come back and do it all over again. Hopefully get more south next year.
Smaller. There's some big swell and current against us. I'm kind of ready to leave Grand Bahama Island. We seem to always time it with the current. Well, against the current. It's terrible.
What's our super speed at?
Oh, actually we have increased to 3.1 knots. Woo! From 2.6.
At this rate, it'll only take 4 days to get there.
Oh, and the swell's way bigger. It's like swell against current, so it is not Alex friendly for cooking downstairs. Can we stay? I'll give birth in the Bahamas. Actually, our parents would hate us. Oh, it's been so much fun here though. It's just good times go by way too quickly, I find. Like, we've had some awesome adventures, we've met incredible people, we've explored new areas of the Bahamas. So overall, really successful sailing season. And the engine worked the whole time.
Don't jinx it, we still gotta get back.
Yeah. We've gone through like 10 gallons of diesel, not even, in 3 months. It's pretty good.
Well, sometimes laziness is not your friend. Probably the majority of the time, to be honest. Yesterday, I decided we didn't really need the mainsail after we had taken it down and flew the spinnaker for a while. So we just used the head sail. But at times it was painstakingly slow. And I thought, I mean, in general, we've noticed our mainsail doesn't really provide us with a whole lot more speed when we're talking about not going upwind. It tends to add a lot more stability, but we never noticed maybe more than a half knot to a knot depending on the wind conditions. But I think when the wind conditions are variable, we get a lot more speed from it than we expect. We just put up the mainsail and I'm pretty sure the wind kicked up because it felt pretty gusty. We were heeling over quite a bit. But basically we went from 3.5 to 4 knots to 5 to 6 knots. So there's certainly a difference there. Now the wind's kind of backed off a little bit, but we're still going 5-7. So I think having the mainsail, if you're going anything less than 5 knots for us, is going to be mandatory from now on. Before we were always using it if we had to beat up wind because you could get a little tighter on the wind, but downwind and on a beam we didn't really find it made a huge difference. But I think when it does make a big difference is when you are going underneath your hull speed and you're just kind of struggling to keep up with the speed. I guess the slot between the mainsail and the head sail kind of gives you that extra oomph, the extra boost you need. So no more lazy sailing for us. Yesterday was way too long of a sail, and it probably would have been cut a lot shorter if I would have just tried putting up the mainsail. You live and you learn. Even through over 2 years of cruising, we're still learning more things about our boat that I probably should have known but didn't know yet. Jittery Jackson can't really steer. It's a bit too wavy for him and gusty. But we're getting pretty darn close to the Gulf Stream. We're just monitoring the temperature of the water, because as the temperature gets hotter, it should be a good sign that we're getting into the Gulf Stream. We'll also obviously see a faster speed. But before we left, we checked on Predict Wind and got a good idea of where apparently I can't speak and steer at the same time, so we got a good idea of where the Gulf Stream was, or how far from the Bahamas it was starting, and where its strongest point was. So now we measured it, and we think we're just on the edge of it there now. We might be just starting to catch a little bit of current, and in another, like, say, 5 nautical miles, we should be right in the blunt of it, getting the most speed burst.
Not just any kind of equipment. If you are going to be putting varnish over paint, we actually...
Fish on! Pull it in, sweetie! I don't know what we got. It's a pretty small fish, I think, but...
Not a barracuda, please.
Is it a mackerel? No, wait, it's a barracuda out in the middle of nowhere!
Sure.
How is that even possible?
I don't want to.
I don't get it!
Look at the teeth.
There should not be a barracuda in like 1,000 feet of water. What are you doing out here? So much for fresh fish.
Oh well, we get a little bit of action. Barracuda. I think we're getting into the Gulf Stream. We're going like 7.2 kind of knots, a little faster now.
We are getting wind roughly 180 degrees off of the direction it was supposed to come, which means we're getting northeast wind, which is really not fun in the Gulf Stream. The waves are building, and you're really not supposed to do a crossing in north wind. And we try to avoid it at all costs. But it seems like we can't trust forecasts worth a damn. Doesn't matter which model you look at or which app you use. They're almost always wrong. Or I'm dyslexic and read directions completely wrong. Maybe that's it.
Heeling over quite a bit, and there's a decent amount of weather helm when the gust comes through, so I think we're going to be reefing the main. So Corey, get your life jacket and on deck.
Suit up! How's the weather helm now?
It's better, but it's still kind of gusty, eh? But it's much better.
Next time stir it. I got Jittery Jackson 3.0 steering the boat. Well, we adjusted the point of sail. We're basically, instead of heading mostly north at like 350, we're going around 330, sometimes closer to 320, 310. And that's really kind of made it a lot nicer to sail. We're not heeling over as much, and we're getting the waves off the back quarter. And it's kind of making it a little nicer in general, and we'll probably make it out of the Gulf Stream a little faster. Normally I'd like to use the highway here, the Gulf Stream, as much as possible, but it's just not a comfortable situation with a fairly northeast component.
Here's my bed for the night. Well, for the first shift anyways. Then I'll relieve Corey after. Ready for the night?
All ready. Going 8.3 knots. It's always more eerie at night, eh?
Big time. You don't stare and you just get thrown all over the place and then you start freaking out.
Since Alex couldn't sleep, I'm gonna try taking a nap. How are you doing out there, sweetie?
I'm stressed.
I can't see your face.
I'm stressed. I'm so much more sensitive this year.
You're doing a good job though. I believe in you, sweetie.
I want to be home. Big waves every once in a while.
It's been a pretty long night, and the winds kind of died off pretty much completely. Luckily we got the Gulf Stream to keep us moving at like 6 knots, but the sails are just flapping around on and off. Got maybe 3 knots of wind, maybe closer to 5 at times, but sometimes it dies off completely. And we're only about maybe halfway down our passage, so it might be a long passage. We're just outside Cape Canaveral, still in the Gulf Stream. Hope the wind picks up. Good morning.
Good morning.
How was your sleep?
It was actually really good. Up until the block started bashing on the wall. Then it was kind of loud. But up until then, I actually like fell asleep and I had a really good sleep.
Good.
So that's kind of exciting.
So as you can see, we're still in the Gulf Stream, going about 7 knots. I had planned to turn a little more west, right around here, right just off the point of Cape Canaveral. But we can't do that because there's not enough wind. We'll be barely moving if we start turning and we get out of the Gulf Stream, so we're just gonna have to stay in it until the wind picks up, hopefully later today. So much fun. No wind left at all in the Gulf Stream, having to take down all the sails because they're just slamming around doing nothing. This is the Gulf Stream crossing of sail changes, I think. Start with the head sail, then spinnaker, then mainsail and head sail, reefed head sail, reefed mainsail, now no sails, and maybe spinnaker because I don't know what else to do. Well, or we'll just drift the Gulf Stream for the rest of the trip. That sounds like a plan.
Well, it's official. I think the wind's doing 360s right now. I've got to keep an eye on the janker because the wind's all over the place. I really don't know what's going on. We have company. First sailboat we've seen so far. It's crazy. Last night I was scared with the big waves when I was down below deck. And now there's like no wind whatsoever. The Gulf Stream is just starting to be glass. You can see the swell going up north, but it's like very minimal. And it's getting hot when there's no wind. The janker's having trouble actually staying inflated, and we are slowly losing speed. I guess that's why the other boat that passed us was motoring. Cheater. Just motoring, no sails whatsoever, other than a sliver of mainsail. So I really hope we get a little bit of wind that picks up, otherwise we're gonna have to turn on the engine. And we're still a little ways from St. Augustine, like a good 90-some miles. Ugh.
Fish on! Now that we're actually moving at a reasonable pace with the current. I have no idea what it is. Let's find out. I think we have another barracuda.
No,
Oh, it's a
that's a
little,
baby.
it's a little mahi. Just a baby though.
We're gonna release him.
Yeah, we're gonna let him go. He's too small. Maybe after we throw him back, we'll catch his big brother. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. I'm letting you go. I'm letting you go. Don't freak out. Ah!
No.
Quit it. You're gonna die. You're gonna kill yourself. All right, here. Go free. Go free. Spotted dolphins. Wow. Putting the spinnaker in the bag, at least temporarily. I think we're gonna need it again later, so I'm just gonna leave it on deck. But I didn't want to leave it in the sock just bashing around and chafing on all the lines and stuff. So we'll see. Hopefully we get some more wind and we can put it back up. Well, we don't get calm conditions like this in the Gulf Stream very often, so I guess I should be very appreciative of it. I just wish we just had even 3 knots of wind. That would make me happy. But you know what? It is what it is. Pretty sure we have enough fuel to make it to where we're going. It's provided we get at least a little bit of wind at one point. Even if we don't, I'm pretty sure we'll be good. We probably should learn from this and just anytime we're doing a larger passage, just in case, maybe have our extra jerry can full. We had one full, but we decided not to fill up the other because we've been doing so well this year. We've used like maybe 10 gallons of diesel fuel this season, and that's 3 months of cruising. But anyway.
Light wind, right?
No, we have lots of wind. Lots and lots of wind.
Well, I'm gonna take motoring in the Gulf Stream any day over motoring the southern section of the Florida ICW. At least here we don't get waked, there's no boat, there's not too many things to hit. I've seen one boat, so this is perfect. We're gonna jump! Come on! Yep, yep! Now they're going away. They're bigger, those guys, than the last ones we had.
Quarter to 2.
Oh, perfect.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna be moving very fast, but I'm gonna give the engine a bit of a break since we got a bit of wind, and we'll see how it goes.
Woo! Yoo-hoo-hoo!
Hey guys!
Yoo-hoo!
Sorry we're going so slow, we're not all that fun to play with today.
It's so pretty. Every time we see dolphins, we start moving. I think they bring us luck. The wind isn't very strong, but we are kind of moving a little bit faster. We're moving at least. Jennifer is full. Those dolphins are just, they're gorgeous. It's pretty incredible. That's like one of the really nice things of sailing away from everything, when those dolphins just show up and play with you. And there's those little babies, and you can tell because they're like either right on top of their mom or right underneath. That's kind of cool to see. And they were right there, like I could have touched them if I had longer arms. I kind of wanted to go swimming with them.
We've made it a little closer. We're about 60 nautical miles. But at this rate, we'll be there tomorrow afternoon in about 24 hours. We're going 2 nautical miles right now. I just turned off the engine and give it a little rest. When we got no wind this morning, we thought, oh, maybe the lighter wind that we were supposed to have ended up being no wind. That was supposed to come in the afternoon, came early. It was supposed to come by midday. But at this point, it's already supposed to be starting to pick up. It's a little better than it was first thing this morning. But we've literally had an entire day of no wind ever since sunrise this morning. It's completely unforecast and making me realize that if I see anything in the under 10 knot range, don't even bother going, because even if it's only for a couple hours, that might extend for the entire day. Like, I mean, maybe this is just one bad experience. Instead of arriving tomorrow morning, we'll probably arrive tomorrow afternoon at this speed, unless I run the engine all night long. Fingers crossed we actually get the wind for a change, forecasted for this evening, and then we'll probably be able to fly the spinnaker all the way in and actually have a good pace. But now we're not in the Gulf Stream anymore, we're more inland, past Cape Canaveral, and we're having a really hard time even keeping, 2 knots right now. Wind is finally here! Oh no!
Yeah, no, nothing.
Never seen such a red moon before.
Yeah.
And like, it started so low on the horizon.
Corey cannot put his book down.
Almost done, sort of. Getting there. The moon is so cool though. It's even, it's getting less red, but it's still like this vibrant yellowish orange and radiating red all around it. So many cool things on this trip. Been pretty nice flying the spinnaker at night, eh?
It's kind of weird. We've never actually flown the spinnaker at night, but it's just been so light that we figured might as well do it. But now we're gonna take it down because it's getting a little stronger and we can't really point where we want to go. So let's take it down.
Alright, you're gonna need that. And I'm gonna go on deck.
Be safe.
It's been a long night. I don't think either Alex or I slept enough during the day today. I don't know, it's just hard to sleep even though it's so calm out there. So now we're kind of paying for it this evening, and we're not able to really do very long watches. From like two hours is a bit of a struggle, and 3 hours is certainly pushing it. So yeah, the sun's coming up, but we're pretty close to St. Augustine, at least the entrance. We're about 2 hours away. Yeah, hopefully we get there soon. I can't even think right. I'm gonna have to sleep when we get there for a little while before I think we check in because I'm exhausted. But at least it's been a pretty calm night, other than some waviness that happened a little bit earlier.
and we took down the spinnaker, but that's fine. We're still cruising at like 5 knots. A heck of a lot better than the entire day yesterday of 0 wind, not even enough wind to fill a spinnaker. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Excited to go get some sleep, check in, and do some exploring later today. Maybe get some supper or lunch. Well, supper. Be supper. Ooh, and a shower.
Swapping flags again.
Yeah, wow, 44 hours, 253 nautical miles, and we made it to St. Augustine. It's so exciting.
And
Are you excited for another Gulf Stream crossing?
wearing underwear.